Do you know what frequencies are? Most people don't. They're terrifyingly simple, and yet it's one of the most effective ways to transmit data or word. I mean, frequencies can even have an effect on the human body. Did you know that? Not just microwave frequencies, no, even low frequencies can have an effect on the human body. First, you feel these little currents running through your body. It's like tingling feeling deep within, which you might just confuse with nerves or angst or God knows what. But it's not. It's not. It's frequencies. They can drive you to madness, you know. They can get in your head and vibrate through your consciousness. You can sit there listening your whole life for some pattern, some logical explanation as to why these tonal ranges exist in the first place, and then your answer finds you. And the answer is this. There is no fucking reason. Maybe they come from the Earth's core, maybe from somewhere beyond. They just are. Just fucking are. It's cosmic. It's galactic. It's as constant as light. More constant than gravity itself. You see, radio waves, they move as fast as light, but unlike light, they are unperceivable. They slip by invisible, moving in perpetual small curves through everything around us. So you see, the signal that I broadcast from here is nearly everywhere at once, but it is hidden to anyone that wants to remain ignorant to its existence. It requires someone to be tuned in on the right frequency in the right place in space and time. I could have been some distant being that found my signal. Could have been someone from beyond. But the person to find it was you. Out of all the people the world has ever born up, out of all the years that could have separated us across all that is, it was you, and only you, who could find the frequency I was on. You came in tune with me, and now you're here. It's incredible, isn't it? Almost like fate. You see, fate prompted you to turn on that radio, and you're turning on that radio, that minor flick of the switch, it was inevitable. What is to happen always was, and will always be. Or maybe you don't believe in fate. You don't, do you? I can tell you puzzle at that word, fate. It's hard to conceptualize, I know, but let me tell you something. The moment you arrive in any one place, it is the moment you realize it is, in fact, fate, as you could no place else. Hindsight is always fate. It could have happened no other way. Years ago, in a different time and place, one not dissimilar from where we are now, fate beckoned to me too, and it told me to turn on that radio. At the time, I thought it was an odd choice to flick that little black switch, but I now know I never had a choice in it. The frequency came from someplace other, perhaps another galaxy, perhaps a universe adjacent to our own, but it called for me, and me alone. It told me to do things, to fulfill certain tasks for it. It spoke to me in a language only I could understand, and now that I see you, I know it too will speak with you as well. I was a kid when I first heard it. I had a family, a little brother, a mother, a father. The first person ever demanded was my baby brother. I was conflicted over what it was asking me to do. He was 4. But the frequency told me that life without purpose should not live on. It told me he was never supposed to make it to 5. I did what it asked me to do. It wasn't brutal or grotesque back then. It was simple. The simplicity of a 7-year-old mind is almost genius. The day was normal, the sky bright, the sun warm. I'd come home from school and got bored quickly. I was often bored, and I would daydream. But the frequency had told me that fateful day was the day for everything to begin and life to end. I remember the moment I decided I would satisfy the demands of the frequency. Funny how decisions like that come. I think everyone has those moments where you dream of killing someone, where you dream of telling someone off, but as the pivotal moment arrives, the moment where you grab the knife, the moment you gather the right words, whatever courage that came before that moment vanishes instantly and totally. But for me, it didn't. That moment came, and I knew it was right. I watched my brother playing on the carpet in front of the TV and knew his fate had already been set. I walked into the kitchen and asked my parents for permission to go on a bike ride. Just me and my brother. They agreed. They usually wouldn't, and as I received that approval, I knew it to be another piece of evidence that all of what was to come was meant to be. My brother happily came along. I'll never forget the excitement at his realization that it would just be me and him. And for a while, we did ride around. But I knew my parents were watching from the window. That only lasted a short time. Once I knew their attention had gone elsewhere, I tempted my brother down to the river, invited him to the water, and pushed him in and watched as the current swept him away. I can still remember his face before it went under. Forever. There was terror there. Even a young mind, not yet fully formed, not even fully formed enough to remember much of the young time when they come of age. Even that mind knew a terror most don't know till their end. Even a 4-year-old no conception of death was afraid of it. I ran back to my parents, pretending to cry, and told them that my brother had gone into the woods and down to the creek without me knowing. I told them I only found out where he was when I heard him scream. And oh, he did scream, I should tell you. He screamed a scream I have intimately come to know over the years. The police would come to identify my brother's passing as an accidental drowning. I was upset about that. I wanted credit for it. With every request the frequency has presented over the year, I am no longer satisfied its wishes in silence. Nothing in my recent bodied work could construe it as accidental. There is purpose behind it for all to see. Just over there, not 15 yards away, are the bodies of 3 people, all killed in the same position you now stand. I usually like there to be a struggle. My best was slicing a man beneath his navel, almost like a C-section. I did this with him lying down on a mattress on the upper floor of my grandfather's barn. You see, everything has purpose. This undertaking you are about to accept is a thing of precision. Anyways, he woke when I tightened the noose around his neck. Again, that same fear my brother had. They all share that same face. And again, there was that brief scream as I pushed that bed over the edge. I watched the mattress smack the ground as the noose tightened and hung him above the ground. His screams continued only for a moment, but the moment was long enough for him to see his bowels falling from the incision and coiling up on the floor. I never thought he'd be the last. I felt I had so much more to contribute. When the next frequency came, it offered my name, me, and I knew what it wanted. It wanted a replacement, and the replacement would be found, and the replacement would find me. That is why you have not fled during this, isn't it? This is your purpose, and you know it. That same pivotal moment has already passed, the moment where you could flee or stay, and you chose to stay. Yes, you will serve the frequency as I have. My life no longer has purpose. I'm the first name on your list. Finish it. If you have second thoughts about my worthiness of such an ending, please don't doubt everything I've told. There is so much more to tell. Do not be gentle. I wouldn't if it were me.